Hi everyone, it's Breeze 108. I'm making another creative tutorial video for my sister, and we're talking about blocks today. Now we're just going to do the building blocks here. Of course, we don't have to talk about every single one of them. We're just going to talk about the unusual ones. Now regular blocks like your wood and your stones. See, I have here the first line of the inventory, this one right here, except of course this one is, we'll be talking about that in a second. Of course these, you put them down any direction, they're going to be the same. You don't have things going different directions. They're just, you put them down no matter what they are, they look exactly the same. You've got your stone, your granite, your polished granite, diorite, polished diorite, andesite, polished andesite, and grass block, and then we have our dirt block, which brings us over to our first section, blocks that change with time. Alright, we have two blocks that change with time. One is dirt. If you put regular dirt anywhere near grass dirt, grass will grow on top of this. We'll have that in a little bit. And this is Mycelium, which you grow mushrooms on, and it also spreads. So if you put any dirt or grass block next to this, it will eventually spread. So we'll come back to this at the end of the video and see what has spread, because it takes a little bit of time. Alright, I put some lighting in case it turns night. Our first row, we have direction dependent blocks. Now a lot of blocks change directions depending on where you put them down. This is a bone block, and this is a bone block. So these bone blocks right here have been put down facing the vertical plane, okay? But these are different. To do this, you have to you face this block right here, and then you have the other side coming out. So for this one, you face down. This one, you face the block, and you have a different effect. This is a hay bale, same thing. Put it down like that, you have your stripes going one direction, you point your little X at the side, and you have a different direction, different texture. Now wood is the same way. It's really obvious with birch logs because you have this striped. If you put it down like this, then you have that kind of stripe, and if you put it facing this way, then they go up and down. Also, you can have that direction coming out. So if you want it the other way, then you sort of have to start with another block and go like this, and then come around here and change these to get them to go up and down. This makes nice wallpaper. These are stripped birch logs. You also have stripped jungle wood, stripped spruce wood, stripped oak wood, and you have it with your little tree rings in it. You have it without any tree rings in it. You got all kind of things, but it has a subtle stripe to it. So depending on where you're pointing, you will get this stripe. If you point to the top of the block, it goes up like that. But if you point to the side of the block, you're going to get the stripe go in that direction. So here we have, this one is your spruce wood. Now, these are glazed terracotta. There's a whole bunch of glazed terracotta, and they're a little hard to deal with because they are very direction dependent. Good example is your pink one, which is good if you have to give directions to somebody. depending on the direction you're looking at is the, see, didn't turn enough, is the direction that you're going to have your block going. So you can get all kinds of really nice patterns with these, but they're a little bit hard to deal with. Sometimes you have to place them over and over again. There's some videos on this if you want to watch those. Okay, and our next row is blocks affected by gravity. This is sort of a big deal sometimes. So we have sand and red sand and soul sand and gravel. Now, soul sand, even though it says sand, it's not affected by gravity like the rest of them, but it said sand, so I put it in there. We also have an anvil, and then we have the different concrete powders. This isn't all of them, but I thought I'd put them in anyway just so you could see. So, sand falls, just like it would in real life. If you break the bottom one, the whole stack falls down, one by one. If you were in survival, those would accumulate and you'd be able to pick them up, but in creative it doesn't do that. Anvils fall, which is really cool, but they can be held up by almost anything. But when you break what's holding them up, they fall, clink. And I just thought I would show you this. These are all being held up by a torch. You break the bottom block and they all break except for soul sand. They all fall down. There you go. And you can pick them all up, put them in your inventory. This inventory right here. There they go. All of them right there. Okay, now our next one is ice. We need this torch here. So I am going to put this torch right here because some ice melts, not all ice, just some ice. So we have regular ice, we have packed ice, hold on, let's do regular ice, packed ice, and blue ice. So if you, and you see regular ice will melt, and when it melts it turns into water and floods all over the place. So if you put a fire source, a torch, any kind of heat source near regular ice, it'll melt. But if you put it near the other two ices, you'll see they don't melt. We'll come back to that. Then we have coral. This is another block that you can have a little bit of trouble with because coral, we know, comes from the ocean. And it comes in a bunch of really cool colors. But the trick with coral is it has to have water underneath it. So all of these have water under them because coral is coral. It's got to have water. So if you don't have water under them, this is what happens. I am going to put the coral over here. Now, the coral has to be directly next to water. Otherwise, it dries out, as you can see. But these are useful too because they're nice gray colors that you don't get in your stones, and they all have nice unique textures that make nice designs. So they're pretty cool too, all by themselves. So now here we see our ice melted again, the one that was right in front of the torch. But the other two don't melt. So just the regular ice melts. The packed ice and the blue ice don't melt. So let's check our growing blocks here. Well, this one didn't grow yet. It will eventually though. But anyway, these got grass on them, and I'll give these a few more minutes and we will see what happens. But that's pretty much it. I want to keep these videos short because the upload time way out here in the country for a 10-minute video is almost 3 hours. So I want to keep these a little short. That's it. Breeze 108. See you guys later. Going to add some more blocks to this. See if it'll spread a little faster. And oh, look at that. It has spread down to this block instead of going sideways. I mean, instead of going to the ones right up there, it went this direction. So this does spread with time.